How's it going, everyone? I hope you're having an absolutely amazing day. Thank you again for tuning in for another Marvel Rivals video. I appreciate you taking some time out of your day to come here and hang out with me. This is going to be a really cool video. I have a lot to talk about, so we're going to actually do quite a few things in this video. But the first thing I want to say is it happened. I did it. I pulled it off. Okay. I told you guys I was going to really lock in and focus and analyze my gameplay, and I was going to get out of platinum. And I did, officially. Last night happened a lot faster than I expected it to, but I'm pretty stoked about that. I posted the photos of it. I didn't know if I should post those yet or just wait to do the video, but I was just like so stoked about it because it's just been such a struggle for me that I was just too excited, and I shared the photos already. So some of you have seen that already. I did just like a little post here on YouTube about it, just a photo post. But yeah, it happened. Success. I am stoked about it. Before we get into that, what we're going to do is look at like some gameplay and stuff like that. I am going to rework the tier list that I made for carry potential as I was playing different roles, trying to make this happen and trying to fill like, the void for the team and just, I guess be a little bit more of like a flex player than, true to one role to try to make it happen. I have noticed a little bit of difference in carry potential. So we're going to look at the previous tier list that I made, and then we're going to do some updates to it. There's also a new Marvel game coming out. I don't know if you guys saw that or not, but I'm pretty stoked about that. It looks really awesome. So before we get into all of that, if you are already subscribed, thank you so much. I appreciate you guys so much. I actually just made YouTube partner, and I am so stoked about it. There's just a lot of like cool things I can now start doing with the channel, and I'm really excited about it, and I couldn't do that without you guys. So thank you so much for all of your support. If you're a new viewer or a returning viewer and you have not subscribed yet, please take a moment to do so. It's free to subscribe to the channel, and I just appreciate it so much. It keeps me motivated to keep going. So before we get into the tier list and the new Marvel game that's coming out, let's take a look at how my Duelist play turned out.
Judge, jury, executioner!
Double KO!
Night,
That's 3! Wow, 4 in a row! 5!
Extermination! Judge, jury, executioner!
That's 3!
Blaze of glory.
Wow, 4 in a row! The mission area is yours! 5! That's amazing!
They got behind you!
6 in a row!
Born again!
Destination Avengers Tower. Move out.
I unleash the Vishanti's
Double
power!
KO! That's 3!
Hostiles up front.
Wow, 4 in a row! 5! That's amazing!
Judge, jury, executioner!
Double KO!
I'm good.
That's 3!
Looks like bullets break your magic.
Wow, 4 in a row!
Judge, jury, executioner!
Night, Mo.
Double KO! That's 3!
Battlefield ready again.
The current score is...
Not too bad, right? I feel like that went pretty well, especially for like not really having much time played on Punisher at all, relatively speaking. If we are looking at, not history, stats here. Punisher, and here, I'll turn off my camera too because I know it's blocking some parts of this screen. There we go. So I ended up putting in 4.1 hours on Punisher and doing pretty well, a decent ratio on wins here. I still have the most time on Jeff, and here we can even just swap this to competitive to make it look a little bit more realistic. Not a great win ratio here on Jeff, and this is kind of what I was talking about before, it just being tough being a strategist because I can keep people alive all day, but if they're not going to get the elims, then we're not making any progress. But as I was playing with Punisher, I started seeing more value for that and seeing myself changing the games quite a bit more. But this was yesterday. I mean, this is just epic. This was like, not down here, not all these losses, but things really turned around here. I went on the 4. This is kind of what I was talking about before, right? You win 2, lose 2, win 2, lose 2, win, 1, lose 4, win 4. So I just went on a tear yesterday. And look, I know that I said I was going to switch to Duelist and just make this happen. I tried that, and I did see my ratio go from, my win ratio go from like the low 40% to like 53, 54%. So I did notice a change of, you know, let's say somewhere between 10 and 15%, which is pretty good. That's, you know, it's worth noting. I will say, however, I don't feel like I played enough games to really say like I can lock that in as like a definitive number where I can tell you guys like this is what it did for me. I didn't get to play a ton. I didn't. So I don't really have enough data or enough games under my belt or hours played to like say like this is truly the percentage increase that I experience. Because I could play some games right now as Punisher and lose 5 in a row. You know what I mean? What I decided to do instead was really just do what the team needed. So I swapped roles sometimes in games, and you'll notice here, like obviously I have a ton of assists on these. The reason being is, well, I went back to playing Jeff. I had somebody comment on one of my videos the other day, and he said that he actually went in and did a VOD review of one of my Jeff games, and he gave me some pointers. He told me some things about my gameplay that he noticed, one of which was that I wasn't working the off angles enough, or using Jeff as a distraction, basically making them shift their focus to a different angle. And I was holding my alt too long. So I read that comment and I was like, wow, okay, this is interesting to read. Let me go back and check some of my games and really like look at how I'm utilizing my positioning in the character and look at how I'm using my skills, because maybe I'm not like providing the most value that I could be. So I went and watched a few games back and I was like, bam, he's right. He's completely right. I need to do better. I was not using the character to the full potential. I was holding alts for too long. That was definitely something. And something that I struggled with the alts was it's hard sometimes to validate using Jeff's alt and then not be healing your team for the next 15 seconds or 20 seconds or whatever it is. There's some, there's a toss up there. If your team is like really, really in the fight and they're needing constant healing, like it can be tough to say, okay, I'm gonna stop healing now because I'm gonna go into my alt and hope I can get some value out of it. Because you always get some form of value from Jeff's alt because it makes people panic and it makes them like freak out and it makes teams separate. So there is value there. But if you're not like getting any of them, then there's a little bit of value lost, right? So it's like, maybe I should have just continued healing and wait for a better opportunity when my team is not just getting hammered and I can use this alt without worrying about them dying because I stopped healing for 15 seconds. So I started thinking about that and I was like, I should just use it. I should just use it as fast as possible, constantly, and just look at it as a way of just scaring the other team. I'm going to do this because it's going to scare them and it's going to make them panic. And when I tell you, I started seeing so much more value and so much more effect, it's a bit of an understatement, truthfully. It totally changed the outcome of some of these games. And I honestly would attribute a lot of these wins to me kind of changing how I was playing Jeff and going from less of like a kind of like passive hanging back, like healing control style Jeff to one that was really just like bothering the other team. And I just worked as hard as I could to be kind of just as annoying as possible. And it got to the point in quite a few games where I had people like actually trying to focus me. I had people chasing me down. I had them swapping to dive characters to try to deal with me. But I was just changing my position and moving around. I had a quitter here. Just moving around so much that it was just hard for them to deal with me. And I had some absolutely amazing games last night. And like, truthfully, I don't know that I've played that well in a long time. And I attribute that honestly to somebody commenting after doing a VOD review of me and saying like, you need to change these things. This is what I would recommend. And I took that advice and I changed and I played better. So thank you so much for that advice. I really appreciate that. And I know that I said I was going to do this like as a Duelist player specifically, but I gave it my best shot. But I found in these games last night that being flexible, like, yeah, you're going to see Jeff at the end of all of these games because I finished them as Jeff, but I did swap sometimes like in game just to put a little bit more damage out. I did play some Punisher in those games too. And you know, it was just more about like filling the role and just making sure that our team had what they needed. But I did find that as I was playing Jeff more aggressively and more from like, and I'm going to annoy the enemy team mentality, I did find it to be far more valuable. And I found it to honestly be changing the way that my team was able to play the game too. So huge improvement there. I will say, I'm pretty scared to play ranked now because I feel like I worked so hard to get to this point that like now, if I lose 2 games, right, I'm back in plat, or 3 games or whatever it comes out to being. So I don't know. I'm a little scared, but I'll do it. I'm gonna make the push to GM now, and I'm gonna see if I can continue to climb, so I can keep updating you guys and keep sharing, you know, some gameplay and things like that with you. But yeah. So far, so good. I'm on the upward, you know, trajectory here as far as like awareness of the game goes, overall skill, positioning, passive versus the aggressive play style, and really just, I would say, just as a whole, like my level of awareness and even like a heightened competitiveness a little bit too, in a healthy way. Like I want to do this. I really want to do this, especially because I challenged myself to do this. And then immediately I was like, you know what, this is going to be really tough for me to do, but maybe I shouldn't have made this challenge, but I'm glad that I did it because it turned out to be a really fun thing for me to do. And hey, I got into Diamond. So like I mentioned, we're going to talk about this tier list because I think it does need a little bit of a rework, especially after really just kind of feeling out how things were going by trying to play the different roles here, trying to incorporate some Vanguard play, some Duelist play, and try to really like position myself in a way where I could take the game into my own hands. One thing that I really want to make a note of here is that, and this is something that I learned playing Mobile Legends, or MLBB. I don't know if you guys ever played that. It was basically like the knockoff League of Legends game that came out on mobile before they released Wild Rift. Mobile Legends was a game that my buddies and I played a ton. And that was kind of my first like introduction into team, like hero-based games like that, right? Where people have different roles, they have different skill sets, they offer different kits and different things to balance out the game and buff and heal and all that stuff. Like it's lanes, you know, it is League of Legends. It's the lanes and everything, it's the towers. It's just like a kind of a knockoff of it, I guess, but it's super fun. It's way better than Wild Rift, in my opinion. Mobile Legends is a sweet game, but that was like kind of my introduction to this. And something I learned in that game was that you don't have to be the one that's doing everything. Sometimes all you have to do is recognize that somebody else on your team has that potential, somebody else on your team is doing that, and then you just facilitate that for them. Find that one player on your team, like let's just say you have a Captain America on your team that is just a menace. Well, focus heal him. Start pocket healing him as much as you can to make him, to give him the ability to do what he's already doing, but to do it at a heightened level. You don't always have to be like the one that takes control. Like I said, recognize somebody else that's doing it and then help them do that. So I was really focusing on that last night when I was playing too, like really trying to like notice on my team who is a very high skill level where I can make their work easier for them and I can help them to carry. I don't have to carry, but if I can help you carry, then now we got 2 people locked in doing one thing, and that can be a really, really effective thing. Actually, let me pop back out of here so we don't have to keep listening to Jeff's little noises. So this was the list that I had before about carry potential, and basically just my view on it. And this list was more so made based on my personal interest. I guess you could say, if I remember correctly, when I did make this, I did put them in a sort of order, but that order was based on my interest in playing them. Along with, I guess I would say along with who I think has the higher potential, and that would be why I chose to play with them too. But the only problem with that, I would say, is like I put Iron Man way down here and he has a much higher carry potential than I think I gave him credit for at the time, but I also didn't have any interest in playing as him. I had more of an interest in countering him. So when I was looking at Duelist carry before, I thought to myself, well, I'm going to rank him a little bit lower because I'm going to be actively making sure that other Iron Man players can't pull off the carry because I'm just going to constantly bully them. And I found that to be a very successful mentality to go into games with. I was just absolutely bullying them with Punisher, and with, and Hela. right next to him. So it worked. It did work. I didn't play a lot as Hela, but I did see some value there. So what I would say now for Vanguard carry, honestly, we do need to put Emma up here. I think we can put her behind Magneto. I think you're more likely to see an Emma carry than a Strange. Strange is incredibly effective right now, but the carry that you're seeing from him is really more so same. Well, it's not the same with Magneto. Like Magneto can cancel healer ults. He can do a lot of damage. He has great objective presence, and he has the ability to make somebody else who's doing really good work impossible to eliminate by throwing the bubble shield on them. So if you see, Scarlet Witch that's incredible at diving and like rushing the back line, you can bubble her up and just, you can facilitate that happening. That's what makes him such a strong carry potential. It's because not only can he, in a way, kind of hold the team together himself, but he can give other people the ability to do better. You kind of see that with Hulk too. Like I kind of want to move Hulk up here a little bit. He's getting banned a lot still, but the shielding with him is honestly, when you have a strong push going and you have a Hulk that comes in and shields up your whole team and just makes it so you can actually continue that push, it can change things completely, like absolutely completely change them. So I think that he needs to be bumped up here a little bit. I think Emma definitely has to go up here. Like Strange, he can kind of hold the team together, but he's more of like an objective control carry potential. Like yes, he can deal more damage now and his ult can be something super devastating. But as far as like damage goes from a tank perspective, you're going to see more coming, I would say, from these two for sure than you're probably going to see from Strange. Not to say they can't do it, but I would definitely put these two up here, and then I would bump Hulk up a little bit as well. I do feel pretty good about this situation here. I will say I'm going to move Punisher up here. I'm going to move Hela up, and honestly, I would put Scarlet Witch in front of Mr. Fantastic, and I would put Psylocke in front as well. Storm as well. Iron Man, look, like you can put him like here. Truthfully, you can. I just find that like right now, I am just actively pestering the Flyers. And with Jeff, it's super easy to do. You just shoot the water stream at him and there's really nothing they can do about it. They either leave, they either have to like, go away for a little while, which honestly is just the goal. I don't care if I get an elimination on a Flyer with Jeff. I just want them to go away. If you can just get them to just take a break for a second, that can be all that you need to make a push happen. You don't have to get the elim, just make them leave. Squirrel Girl definitely still up here. Punisher, I found him to be incredibly strong, incredibly effective. I do think that there's a lot of potential for Mr. Fantastic, but it's kind of hard for me, truthfully, to leave him in a duelist category as a potential carry, because he functions the best when you kind of play him like a tank. You know what I mean? He fits in both of these roles. He's a very unique character, a very unique kit and skill set and play style even. It's very different. So it's kind of tough to say like where he stands as far as carry potential goes, because you really do need the support of your team to make him be as effective as possible, right? You need the ability to you really need to count on your team to be healing you, because you can play, because he's going to perform the best in the front line, playing as like a second or third tank, but with the priority of really focusing on dealing damage and just being super aggressive and abrasive with the other team. But you need to have the healing on board for you to pull that off, because you're not a true tank. So you don't have the same resiliency. And if you're not timing skills correctly, then you definitely don't have that same resiliency. So you really do have to count on your healers with him. The potential is there, but you gotta have it. You gotta have the help. I would put Storm up here too. I would put these up here. And look, it kind of bothers me to say like the Flyers are the best carry potential, but unfortunately right now they kind of are. And it's just how it is. I don't know that there's really anything that we can do about it right now at this point in time. The only thing that you can do is say like, okay, if I don't want to play the Flyers, what's the next best? The next best is to counter them. So that's kind of where you come into like my thought process on trying to rank up by playing Duelist, was that I just wanted to counter the Flyers because I didn't see anybody else dealing with them. So rather than like play Flyer to counter Flyer or play Flyer and play that potential carry role, I was like, I'm just going to make sure that Flyers are not a problem for my team, period. And I have found a lot of success with Punisher in that realm. I had a hard time with Hela. The aiming, the timing of the shots and stuff kind of like threw me off a little bit. It's something I got to work on a little bit more. Admittedly, I did not spend a ton of time on her. I spent a lot of time with her in the practice area, just doing the aiming practice with her. I spent a good amount of time doing that, but I have not really put it too much into actual gameplay use. I do want to spend some time on Scarlet Witch though. Truthfully, I've only played her in practice. I have never played Scarlet Witch in a game. Not one time since I downloaded this game have I played her. I want to spend some time on her. I think there's a lot more potential there than I've given her credit for in the past. Plus the team up is also a very, very active possibility right now, so that just makes her even more stronger. For the Duelist, or for the Strategist carry rather, if we want to talk about like who has the highest potential to carry, I think that we really need to move these around a little bit. Like this would be it, I would say, as far as strategist carry goes. Luna's insane right now. Ultron, a good Ultron is just brutal. Absolutely brutal. Adam has proven to be also incredibly good. I played a game a couple days back now, and there was an Adam on the other team. We couldn't do anything because he just constantly was resurrecting his team. Just constantly. I have never seen it done so efficiently and so strategically in the entire time I've been playing this game. I've come up against a lot of Adams, good ones as well, and ones that, not memorable, but this one specifically, it was really the first time. Like I've seen streamers like play as Adam super well, and I understand what the potential is, but I've never actually witnessed it. It's different watching it happen than it is experiencing it and actually like playing against it and having to deal with it. It's so much different. So that was the first time that I had experienced that, and I was just, this is more of a carry potential than I actually recognized. It was insane. He had a Star-Lord on his team that was really good, and anytime Star-Lord would die, I swear it was just like, he's back. It was brutal. It was absolutely brutal. Jeff is certainly an incredible potential for carry, and I really feel like I just unlocked that yesterday, and it was because of that comment that made me realize I need to make a change. I need to do better. And because I took that advice and started playing him differently, I saw instant value from it. Now for the remaining Vanguards, Duelists, and Strategists, I would say we can put Penny up here. I know, and I don't know where I would order her. I'd maybe, honestly, depending on the situation, depending on the map, Penny has incredible carry potential. She can make it very, very, very difficult to make any sort of progress on the map. So like her value comes from a little bit more of like a passive angle. You're not necessarily being incredibly aggressive with her. You're just an obstacle that's very difficult to deal with if you position and you play very well with her. So I think you can certainly carry just by being like purely an obstruction for the other team, and just something that they've got to deal with everything that you're bringing to the table before they can even do anything else, right? They got to be super careful when there's a good Penny around. I would say you could also carry with Bucky. I'd feel comfortable putting him up here. I've seen some incredible Bucky play recently. And I've also seen some really good Black Panther play. I would be certainly willing to bump him up here as a potential carry. If you have a Black Panther on your team that is very good at working the angles, sneaking around and picking off a strategist or two every now and again, like that's all you need him to do. You don't need him part of the other fights. You don't need him doing anything. Just eliminate a strategist, ideally get rid of both strategists if there are two of them, which normally there are, and then just get out of there. If you can take away the enemy team's healing, it's incredibly valuable. And that's something that you can do with Emma and with Groot. And honestly with the shields here as well, if you can separate the tanks from the healers using the ice shield, using the walls, just getting in between with Strange and Magneto and just having the shields up so you're blocking that healing, it can totally change a game for you. So there are just so many avenues and like ways to carry that I just think I'm like seeing it more. And because I was changing the roles, I was like, man, this person's really difficult to deal with when I'm a tank, but they're not difficult to deal with when I'm a strategist. You know what I mean? Like you experience the game differently when you change roles. So I would definitely challenge you guys to play different roles and play different heroes, because not because you want to master them, but because you're actually going to see the game differently. You're going to understand the potential of different heroes by playing as different heroes, both in the effect that they have against other roles and other heroes, and also the effect that other people have against you. It varies. And now I think for the remaining ones, it's probably safe to say that they can all just kind of stay where they are. Like, look, anybody can be a carry in the right hands, right? But let's talk, we're talking about the highest potential of that happening here. I will say that I do want to move Captain America up here. I felt like the nerf was a big deal. Cap is still very difficult to deal with. We had one in a game yesterday. Let me pull my history back up here and see if I can find it. He was absolutely annoying. Was it this game? It was this dude. He was really good. Really, really, really good. And they had an Ultron, so they had the healing drone on him pretty much all the time, and he would not leave me alone. It was constant. It was like almost obsessive. He was just on me all game. I would say, honestly, I'd feel comfortable saying probably 5 or 6 of my deaths were him. Some of them were me taking people off the edge. Some of them were just, other random things like Ultron maybe. But he was constantly bullying me. And that was like the first time since the update and since the changes were made and the adjustments were made, where I was like, I don't really think that he's that nerfed, to be honest. All you got to do is get the healing drone on him and he's just unbearable. And that's why, honestly, I'm always pushing to get Luna banned, because when you put the frost on him and you put the drone on him, nah, I'm not trying to deal with that. That sounds just like an absolutely horrible experience. Let's get this pulled back up here. So I'm willing to put him back up there, but it is going to be situational. If you have the ability to buff a Cap, and this would be like a perfect example of when you could say, like, look at how much this person is providing. Let's make it easier for him. Let's buff him. Let's pocket heal him. Let's help him control his space a little bit more. The team was definitely doing that for him, and he was super tough to deal with. I mean, you saw his stats. It was insane. He hardly ever died. So there's definitely that potential there. I feel pretty comfortable with this. Just a little bit of a rework. Nothing crazy here. Not necessarily an order, but kind of in a way. I think that these are great heroes to pick from if you're trying to do what I'm trying to do, which is change the outcome of your games because you want to rank up, but like me, you're playing solo queue. There's a lot of potential here, and I think if you're picking 2-3 of these people from each role and you're really working on mastering them, then you're going to have the ability in game to say, what are we lacking? How can I bring that to the table? How can I take away this variable and give us a higher potential of winning? Because sometimes that's all that it takes, is just that one person making one change that helps the whole team out so much better, and then it allows you to actually progress through the objective play, capture the domination area, and win the game. So I'm really going to be working on this myself personally, and I challenge you guys to do the same. Now, that's enough for the tier list. I mentioned that there's another Marvel game coming out, and guys, if you have not seen this yet, you're welcome for bringing this to your attention.
自由のために戦う。さあ、お手並み拝見といこう。君のことは親友だと思っているが、やるしかないようだな。ビブラニウムのシールドだけでは私のアーマーには勝てないぞ。よし、本気でやるぞ。失礼。くらえ。おいためろ。耐えてみせろ。
任せてちょうだい。
I don't know if you guys like fighting games, but I'm real big on like Street Fighter, especially Street Fighter 2. That's one of my favorite games of all time. This looks epic, and it's Marvel, so that makes it even better.
私の名前の通り、マーベラス。
親愛なるリンディ、スパイダーマンだ。スパイリーセンス。今日もお見事大勝利。
俺とやり合うってか？調子が出てきたぜ。俺様の名はスターロード。胸に刻んでおきだ。覚悟しやがれ。シートベルト。締めたたらい。イーストロ3のスペシャルメニューお見舞いするぜ。
I mean, am I wrong? This looks really cool. This looks really, really cool. Dude looks sweet.
ドする風よ荒れ狂え。たとえ人々に嫌われていても私は世界を守る。さあ耐えられるかしら。
I'm gonna be playing a lot of this game.
正義のためにこれが私のとっておきだ。
こっちだよ。
抱かれなさいせや。
またなベイベー。我々のチームワークは絶対に破れない。
マーベル闘魂ファイティングソウルズ。
You can't tell me that that does not look awesome. And they nailed the artwork as well. And the trailer is like so good. I just, everything with Marvel right now, like I am just so stoked. I am so stoked. I love Marvel and I think this is just coming out in 2026. I don't know when exactly, does it say? It just says 2026. This is going to be really awesome and I'm pretty stoked about it. So yeah, anyway guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for helping keep me motivated like during this process here to try to get myself to the point where I could eventually get out of platinum and get into diamond. Hopefully I can stay there. Knowing how things go for me, what might happen now is I go in and play and I end up back in plat 1 or plat 2. But hey, you know what, I did it and at least now I know a better methodology for playing because I really did take the time to sit back and rethink how I was playing the game. So thank you guys so much for helping keep me motivated. Thank you so much for the tips and to the person that did the VOD review, thank you so much for doing that and letting me know where you felt like I was lacking and I could improve because it certainly made a difference. So I really appreciate that. If you've already subscribed, thank you so much. I appreciate it. If you have not, take a second to do so. It's free to subscribe to the channel. I appreciate you guys so much. I will give you guys an update here very shortly about everything that I've got going on and what I am thinking I want to do for this channel. I will give you guys an update very, very, very soon. But I'm going to hop out now and play some games. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video.